standing with local and national leaders, as well as residents who feel the pain of the Postal Service that just is not working for them. And today we're standing here trying to do something about it. So I thank all of the leaders from the city who are going to be joining us today. Sharon Durkin, the Boston City Council, Lucy Louis-Jean, Boston City Council President, Henry Santana, Boston City Councilor at Large, Ben Weber, Boston City Councilor from District 6, along with Scott Hoffman from the American Postal Workers Union, Ray Bell, President of the Greater Boston Local American Postal Workers Union, Scott Dowdy, the National Association of Letter Carriers, Randy A.J., Boston Regional Director, Senator Warren, along with State Senator Michael Brady, representing Brockton, who we will be referencing here today. Keith Richardson, the president of the Second Class American Postal Union, Liz Reed, the Boston City Councilor, as well. And so we're having this on the day before Thanksgiving, and it is intended to ensure that we guarantee that everyone gets the mail which they deserve to receive in a timely fashion. We're at the Mission Hill Post Office, which just 5 months ago, the Postal Service wanted to close. But City Councilor Sharon Durkin and I and many others said no to USPS so that residents could keep their access to this important lifeline. And we fought and we won. And now this post office location remains open. But this holiday season, we can't celebrate without resolving to fight. Today, on the day before Thanksgiving, we are on the precipice of gift-giving season, anxiously awaiting letters from Santa or a package from a friend across the country. But for the residents I'm hearing from, they're hoping the Postal Service can provide the bare minimum today. Their daily mail, their prescriptions, their checks, their legal notices, and so much more. If service does not improve, Postal Service management will be the Grinch to all of us in Whoville this holiday season. And fortunately, we don't need management's heart to grow 3 sizes. We just need decisions that prioritize residents and workers to keep post offices open and keep the mail running smoothly across Boston and across the entire Commonwealth. But Louis DeJoy, Donald Trump's hand-picked privatizer general of USPS, is more focused on ruining the Postal Service than in running the Postal Service. And it's having effects here in Massachusetts. I am constantly hearing reports from residents of egregiously delayed mail delivery, closed post office locations, weeks of lost mail, and so much more. Specifically, I'm hearing from residents across the city of Boston who are getting mail once a week, if not once a month. They're experiencing months of mail delays, and important mail pieces like medications and checks are delayed on a consistent basis. I'm hearing from residents in Medway, Watertown, and Alston who remain frustrated that the Postal Service abruptly closed their local post office locations and now months and years later have no plans to reopen. I'm hearing from residents in greater Boston communities like Somerville, where I work to help restore more frequent service, but where many are still wondering where all of their lost mail has gone. They want to know where the lost mail is. That is unacceptable. I'm hearing from postal employees in Brockton who are outraged about USPS management's plan to consolidate their processing and distribution center. And I'm hearing from residents in Western Mass and the Cape worried that the Postal Service's recent proposed changes will slow their mail delivery. These are all unacceptable, and USPS management needs to seriously step up and change course or just ship out, because they are not getting the job done. They are not delivering the mail which people desperately need. Because we know that frequent that regular postal service is a public good, and that when the Postal Service fails in its mission, that is a justice issue. For too many communities, the consequences of unreliable mail delivery aren't just an inconvenience, they're life-altering. Communities across Massachusetts experience disparate mail delivery frequencies and rely on Postal Service to varying degrees. For our elderly, for the sick, disabled neighbors, delayed mail means delayed medications and life-saving medical information. For communities that have historically been underinvested in, those who lack reliable internet or access to digital tools, the Postal Service is their only link to communication. For the unbanked and the underbanked, it's their financial backbone, a bridge to essential services. And for those facing financial hardship, it's their connection to the government resources they depend upon to survive. The check is in the mail. The check must be delivered to people's homes so they have the money to buy the groceries, to pay the rent. We must demand better. We must demand a postal service that works for everyone, because the cost of failing to fix this isn't just inconvenience. It's lives, it's livelihoods, it's dignity. Let's make it clear. Equitable postal service is not a privilege, it is a right. Proper postal service takes these differing lives and their experiences into account when ensuring that mail delivery is performing as it should. And despite the importance of a well-functioning postal service, especially for vulnerable communities, you won't find adequate attention or care for poor service from the Louis DeJoy Post Office. While we work to correct historical injustices on so many fronts, from environmental injustices to racial and economic injustices, we cannot allow USPS to saddle us with return to sender. We need a postal service that is committed to ensuring that all residents get adequate service, and that those who rely most on its services have attentive leadership that they deserve. That is going to be ultimately the key to solving this problem. So ahead of the holidays, I'm shipping my own gift to Postal Service Management, a plan on how to solve this crisis. To do that, I am announcing a slate of steps to both hold Postal Service Management accountable and correct those critical issues in Massachusetts and across the country. Number one, I'm calling on the Postal Service to stop any changes to USPS service standards that would result in job losses and further degrade mail delivery performance, including consolidation of the Brockton Processing and Delivery Center. Number two, I am reiterating calls on Postmaster General Louis DeJoy to resign his post. And three, I am supporting efforts in Congress to require the Postmaster General to be directly accountable to Congress to prevent future unaccountable privatizer generals. And I'm asking the Postal Service Inspector General to do a full review of postal operations in Massachusetts at a system-wide level. And finally, I am demanding zip code level data from the Postal Service to get to the root cause of inequitable service in Boston and across our Commonwealth. USPS management needs to match the dedication of their own employees, postal workers, mail carriers, and all postal employees are committed public servants who understand the Postal Service is a vital public good. They are on the front lines every day, delivering for the residents of Massachusetts and embody that eternal creed of mail carriers. Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. Unfortunately, Postmaster DeJoy will use any excuse, snow, rain, heat, night, to cut from the services that are needed in communities, to actually slow mail delivery. Right now, USPS stands for unreliable, slow, persistently stalled. And we must once again fight to make it stand for universal and swift public service. Mail at the front door is an essential service that cannot be cut back the way in which DeJoy and the U.S. Postal Service is now doing. So I'm not going to stop fighting until all of our citizens get the first class of service which they deserve. They have a right to expect that the Postal Service of the 21st century provides the same quality as the 20th century. There's absolutely no excuse for that not being made possible. So let me now turn and recognize a great leader on this issue, Councilor Sharon Durkin. Welcome, Sharon.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Senator Markey. I'm deeply honored to join him to address critical issues plaguing USPS service here in Mission Hill, Boston, and beyond. His leadership and unwavering commitment to holding USPS accountable and organizing our federal delegation shows how well represented we are on this issue. Earlier this year, together, we managed to prevent the closure of this post office in White House. This victory, achieved through partnership with community advocates, many of them who are here, shows us that when we work in collaboration, we can affect change. And that's why we're here today. A community that stands up can win. After successful advocacy came emails about the direct impact of postal delivery issues on the lives of our Mission Hill neighbors. In direct response, I filed a hearing order alongside my colleagues, Councilor Ben Weber and Santana, around postal issues in Mission Hill and other neighborhoods. But I didn't realize how many other neighborhoods were facing the same issues until other councilors started reaching out. It was Roxbury, it was Elston Brighton, and it was throughout the city. Though USPS refused to appear at our hearing, we were honored to have organized labor, many of them beside us, Ray Bell, Scott Hoffman, and Tom Rooney, as part of our panel at the City Council. And Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley testified. Together, we amplify the voices of our residents who have endured unacceptable delays, missing mail, and inadequate responses from a system that should serve as the cornerstone of our communities. Last month, after USPS declined to provide specific performance information about service in Boston, Councilor Braden and I took the extraordinary step of filing an order to summons Boston Postmaster Joshua to testify before the Boston City Council. This action was necessitated by USPS officials' refusal to meaningfully engage with our concerns and provide actionable solutions. They also shared that they had an email chain where they discussed whether they wanted to appear before the Boston City Council. And when they didn't appear, we decided they're asking for a summons in this email chain. We must summons them, so we did. Then they refused to appear again. It is unacceptable that USPS hides behind broad, multi-state performance metrics, failing to address the lived realities of Bostonians who face delays for weeks or even months in receiving critical mail. And I appreciate that this issue isn't just about Boston, it's about the entire Commonwealth, and that's why Senator Markey is here pushing for his list, which I think the Boston City Council fully backs up, of reasonable asks. This is something, it may be a federal issue, but it's affecting those at the local level, and it's incredibly important to us. All I can do is express the frustration that our neighbors feel. Without answers, without a plan, and without the metrics to advocates, amplifying the voices of residents across Boston and across the Commonwealth. We stand united in demanding more from USPS. We know that Postal Service is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It connects families, delivers life-saving medications, ensures small businesses thrive, and expands participation in our democracy. In Massachusetts, we are fortunate that leaders like Senator Markey and our Congressional delegation are working tirelessly to hold USPS accountable. Together, the Boston City Council is focused on uplifting the voices of our constituents until we have answers. Thank you, Senator Markey, and let us not let USPS become the Grinch that stole Christmas, but let it also not be the thing that stole the ability. I mean, people are getting, we heard stories from these Greater Boston organization leaders and members that people are missing medications that they need to survive. People are missing checks that they need to pay their rent. People are getting eviction notices because they haven't paid their rent. People are getting all of these things are preventable, and it's if the USPS was acting appropriately and doing everything it could to deliver on this incredible postal service that we've had in the past. If they were delivering on that today, we wouldn't be hearing those calls. So I'm grateful for my city council leaders that are here. I'm grateful for Ben Weber, Councilor Liz Brian, who worked in deep partnership on this issue. And I'm also grateful to have the president of the Boston City Council, who when we said we were going to issue a summons to the USPS Postmaster Joshua Okonis, she didn't blink. So now I'll welcome Council President Pressley.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Richard Eugene, President of the Boston City Council, and it's a beautiful day to be with all of you to be standing for justice. I want to thank Senator Markey for your leadership, your tireless leadership, recognizing that this is a justice issue for our neighborhoods. I see leaders here from Mission Hill, from Fenway, from Roxbury, because we are sick and tired of not getting the service that other neighborhoods and that other communities get. There's no reason why we shouldn't. So I want to also thank my colleagues on the City Council, Councilor Durkin, who has been a fierce leader and advocate on this issue, Councilor Weber, don't make him angry, he's also a lawyer, and Councilor Braden, who can come with the fight. All right, so don't get it twisted. She comes to the fight. Senator Brady and everyone who is here to advocate on behalf of our residents, and obviously labor, you did such a great job when you came to the City Council and testified, because you want USPS to work the same way that residents do. Right? You take your job seriously and you care about this. So, like Councilor Durkin said, the minute that we raise this as an issue for the Mission Hill community, for the Roxbury community, as an at-large city councilor, we started hearing about this from residents in downtown. We started hearing about this really around the city. So this is not just about one neighborhood, although we need to make sure that our black and brown neighborhoods that are too often at the receiving end of poor service are centered in this fight. And it's not just about them, it's about the entire city of Boston. So I want to thank all of the community advocates. I want to thank Greater Boston Interfaith Organization. I want to thank labor, all of our elected officials for staying on this issue. It matters. It's not just one news cycle, right? Justice depends on us keeping our foot on the gas and making sure that residents get what they deserve, right? If DeJoy can't do the job, he's got to go. If he can't show up for us the way that we need him to do, he's got to go. And so I thank Senator Markey for your leadership. I thank everyone for being here. And I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope that we can continue to show up for our residents to make sure that you get the service that you deserve. Thank you.
Now we're going to hear from Amelia Lloyd. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Amelia Lloyd. I'm a leader on the CB, Greater Union Capital Boston, and the Greater Boston Interfaith Organization team. I'm one of 12, so not many, but it's fair. So we represent over 1,000 members, thousands on thousands of members actually. We're in full support of Senator Markey's call for data, answers, and investigation for the USPS. Regardless of whether we get an answer or not, we want everybody to know that we know that there's a problem. You know that there's a problem, and we want to change. We want something different. For the past couple of days, we've been discussing our stories. Many members have told us their stories of not receiving notification, losing insurance, not getting medication, residents going days to weeks without mail. But I wanted to to represent my area, which is Charlestown, that serves over 1,100 units as thousands of family members. I have residents who are seniors, who are disabled, who do not speak English as a first language or as a language at all, who rely on the mail. They rely on the mail on a daily basis. That's how they communicate. That's how they receive their notification on housing updates and delays, on banking information, on money sent through disability or sent through family members, because that's how they survive. Real people who go through real issues. I've watched them call the customer service center just to be met with defeat, no result, no resolution, struggle to figure out how they're going to make ends meet, waiting on a disability check, borrowing money that they don't even have to return to other members of their community. Saying all that, I would love for them to all be here, but they're all working or stuck doing something, and as a result to not receiving their mail. They're home, they're waiting by the door, they wait to get that key unlocked, since the mailman's jingle it, and they can hear the door open to know that their mail is received. A lot of them are not received it on time, especially during the holidays. We all know that there's a problem. There's no way to deny it. We've seen it community to community, place to place. I assume that they would want proof, but we are the proof. Every member, every resident, every city, every community has made it very clear. And we have thousands and thousands of people from the Congress, councilmen and councilwomen, members of the Senate, members of the communities that are strong leaders who send representatives to come out here, regular people, everyday people, and we're ready to stand. We're ready to put our best foot forward and do whatever it takes, because we want our mail. We deserve our mail every single day.
And I am partnering with Senator Warren and with Ayanna Pressley to make sure that we keep the pressure on, that they know that we're not going away. So this is going to be something that is absolutely central to our congressional delegation agenda, to make sure that people understand that access to mail on a regular basis is justice. It's part of the justice agenda, and make sure that it is understood to be part of the Postal Service. So now we're going to hear from the leaders from the workers in our state. Every day, try their best to provide more services. Again, Scott Hoffman. Welcome, Scott.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad to see City Council and all the members of Congress signing on to this, because this is one of those things that people won't realize what they had until it's gone.
Yeah.
I like a few points that were touched upon today. The Postal Service's stance right now with their skewed metrics, and I'll talk about their scams that they rely upon, how they're downright falsified. But the bottom line is they seem to want the communities to don't believe your own eyes and ears and experience. Believe this piece of paper I'm waving in front of your face. I'm here to say, if their mouth's moving, they're lying. So a few points to make is, it took 250 years or so to build up the infrastructure of the Postal Service. It was built that way so that it could reach every house, on every street, in every town, every day.
Yeah.
We do more in one day, piece count-wise, than UPS and FedEx do in a year. So that should give, we all think they're the big boys, but they're not. It's the Postal Service. The pandemic was a good example. When they couldn't handle the extra work and packages and shipping because nobody could go out, they tapped out. They turned the work over to the Postal Service because only we have that infrastructure. And what you see right now is somebody who's breaking down that infrastructure. I think it's it's a move towards privatization, and it's also, don't ever forget, Mr. DeJoy comes from the trucking industry. And what he's doing is he's setting up, breaking down the Postal Service so that each leg of the journey, he spreads it out, and now you need more trucking. So for instance, in Brockton, they used to collect the mail, they cancel it, sort it in Brockton, and get it out to you the next day. Now their proposal is to send it down to Providence, Rhode Island. Now if you ordered a pizza, it used to come from the pizza place down the street and come directly to you. That's service. But if they were shipping your pizza from Brockton down to Rhode Island and you get it 2 mornings later, that's not service. Well, and that's how they're doing it. I hate to say it, I'll make an analogy. The Postal Service is similar to a sewer system. In other words, it has to keep flowing. You have to flow whatever you have to the next juncture so that it can be sent on its way timely. Mr. DeJoy is building in all of these stops. So by spreading out the infrastructure, selling it off so that it cannot be replaced, it's wanton destruction of the Postal Service. It also, one of his initiatives is if a truck's not full, it doesn't go up. And again, this goes back to service and flow. If you're holding trucks up, it's not getting to the next sortation location to get it on its way. So I'm gonna go back to bus service. If the bus service is supposed to leave at 6 at night, but they have a new rule, they're not leaving unless the bus is full. Are you supposed to sit on the bus from 6 at night to the first one at 8 in the morning? That's not bus service. That's what he's turning the Postal Service into. If a truck's not full, they hold it. So instead of getting on its way to you, it's sitting there. You know, the Joy's making logistics decisions, not service decisions. And I ask you, right now they have the most expensive, sophisticated mail sorting equipment in the history of the world. Yet we can get the job done and meet our service standards back when we threw the mail by hand. So it's deliberate destruction. How do you have the best equipment and now you can't get the job done? And when they send out their metrics and their percentages, when they want you to, don't believe your own eyes and ears, don't believe your constituents, and they shoot out their numbers, it really is ridiculous because the scans that they use are skewed. They'll scan it, they'll order a clerk to scan it when it's still sitting on the floor and it's not going out. Or the attempted deliveries. The standards say it should get in and get out that day. They'll scan it, the management will have you scan attempted delivery when that piece never left the building, just so they can support their numbers. And again, we're on the inside. I'm a 37+ year postal employee. I work 19 in the plant and the rest in the local post offices. And I'm also privy to information through grievances in the union. And it's never been this bad. The mantra when I started was if there was one piece over there, get it on its way. The mantra now is, we don't have enough people. Hide it, scan it, and we'll tell people everything's running smooth. And, you know, and again, believe me, we're on the inside and we see it. So it does make me happy to see everybody out here in concern for the Postal Service. We all know it's the backbone of commerce in this country. It's trillions, not billions, trillions. A lot of post offices are the cornerstone of Main Street business. So again, I want to end with how I started. Don't fall asleep on this. And let them steal it from you. Because when it's gone, you'll be at the mercy of corporate America. I'm going to end this like I ended it before. Corporations have no mercy. Thank you.
Woo! Very much. And when I was working my way through Boston College for 4 winters between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I worked at the post office. That was my job, starting at 6 a.m. in the morning, working with systems to be tracking. They knew what they were doing, and they were doing it by hand. And so that's why I think so many families question this post office, question its competence, question its commitment to service for everyone. Because they know in the old days it did work. And it worked in a way that served everyone in the community on a non-discriminatory basis. That's why we are here today. And next we're going to hear from Ray Bell. He's going to bring you more of this.